Well, this man has spent the last 5 weeks recording his band's long-awaited third album, so let's see if he survived the madness and mayhem and hopefully lived to tell the tale. Drew Goddard from KARNIVOOL, can you hear us? Are you alive?
I am alive. I'm here, Hoagie. Good to speak to you, mate.
Let the interrogation begin. Album number 3 is done. What can you tell us?
It's actually it's not quite done. So the main stuff is done. All the crazy stuff and all the hard work is done. So it's smoother sailing now, but there's got a few guitars and stuff to do. So just kind of actually our gears just arrived back at the studio here in Perth, and we're setting it all up again. We've got a little setup happening and just a bunch of close mic stuff and all the fun and extra bits and pieces, all the icing and a few backup vocals here and there still need to be done, and then back over for mixing on the 17th of March, and then it's all wrapped up, apart from the mastering, of course, but that's out of our hands.
Well, technical update, that one's been ticked off the box, but let's talk about the music side of things. Are you happy with how the album's actually sounding song-wise, and can you even let us in on a little bit of what we can expect musically from the forthcoming record?
Absolutely, man. I'm stoked, to be honest. There's still, as I said, lots of stuff to do, so I'm not, I haven't signed off yet, and it's approaching the time I can let go and really kind of celebrate the end of it. But it's we're all really vibing on it at the moment, man. To be honest, it's I think it's another big step up. Probably not as a bigger step to the side as the last record for us, but it's the songs are there, man. As the record as a whole, as well as just coming together, the tracks are seeming to find their place on the flow-wise on the record, and all the little kind of segues in between, and it's sounding pretty epic, man.
Well, I recently caught up with your singer, Ian, and I actually asked him about the album, and he was actually a little lost for words on how to sort of express, what the album was, but the excitement definitely showed on his face, because it just showed that he was immensely satisfied. And then he also went on to say, live is where these songs will truly translate. I mean, do you feel the same?
Definitely, man. I mean, one thing we've kind of figured out now is when you lay stuff down to tape or to tools or however you do it, it's not necessarily the end of the song's evolution, so it is in the way that's kind of like how it's going to, stay in, people's sort of minds, I guess. But it's there's a lot that's sort of growing for a lot of the songs still to do, and I think the way the songs ended up on the record is the strongest as far as the song goes. But there's so many little extra bits and pieces that that we can sort of experiment with live and draw out some parts and just have fun with it, I guess. Let me get out of that noise. Our studio's here in an industrial area in Perth, so it's lots of cars and beeping, reversing, etc. Man, it's really come together, I think, and the songs, I think, will really shine live, and I think that's where a lot of people really kind of understand it, in the live scenario. I think it'll be another grower, it'll take a while to sink in, and it's still sort of doing that, and I think KARNIVOOL songs also take a while to sink in as well for us, even after we've recorded it. We're still right in the middle of it at the moment, and we don't really have proper perspective of what it is in its entirety. We're just looking forward to getting out on the road with it and making some noise and seeing how the songs translate. But we've already getting a lot of ideas now about how we want to present it, and including the visuals and just how we want to mix it up with the older stuff and where songs could sit in the set, and you get ideas of this song could open, and then we could chuck that one at the end, and which is great. I love the idea of going into a touring schedule with a whole bunch of fresh songs and a new set to play, because you know you can only go through so many permutations with 2 records, and you kind of get stuck in some patterns, I guess. You know, things that work and where they sit in the set, and but now it's a whole new kettle of fish. It's awesome.
Does the album actually have a title, and do you have a rough sort of estimate of when this will actually be unleashed to the awaiting masses?
Title, we are down to 2, so I probably can't say what that is at the moment, but yeah, it's we still haven't kind of made up our mind on that. So as far as the album release, I don't have an exact date for that as well, but I'd say it would be around the middle of the year, and we're looking at touring around August.
Awesome.
Like the main album tour around then. So yeah, we always seem to tour around the winter time in Australia for some reason, but yeah, but we're looking forward to getting out on the road now, showcase your stuff.
You mentioned before that the album sort of is a sidestep. Now, we know that a lot of bands, if anything, every band is labelled today. There's just no way of escaping that. I'm just keen to sort of figure out how you feel about the sort of progressive rock metal tag that the band seems to have been lumped into. Even for an example, I saw a Metal Hammer UK mag a while back that said, you know, they are the Carnival of the Dream Theatre of Australia. What's your thoughts on the way people view the band's sort of musical style, and do you even have an idea of what Carnival is?
I mean, the labels thing, it's you know, it's something I kind of gave up worrying about a while ago, because people are always going to want to label things and put you in a box. And I guess the progressive one is one that we get a lot, and I'm happy with that. If it's a term, you know, and the idea of progress is something that I'm into. But you know, so if we are going to get labelled progressive, then I've just got to make sure that we're progressing. You know, so
yep.
I'm cool with that. I'm just cool with whatever label, man. It's you know, I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to hold steadfast to anything that, you know. It's always going to be Carnival, and there's attributes of Carnival that I think are just there. You know, that even if we tried to move away from it, we probably couldn't, you know. But then again, there's also many attributes about Carnival that we're yet to explore, that I'm keen to in the future as well. So, yeah, the Dream Theatre one, that's I can't quite see that myself. I think we're a very different band to Dream Theatre, you know. Huge respect for them. It's not really my cup of tea. In the terms of there's I don't know, the technical prowess, which is kind of what they're known for, and there's a certain amount of that in Carnival. But you know, I grew up on stuff like Nirvana and you know, some 4-chord stuff, and I think there's a lot of that. You know, there's some it's a bit rough around the edges, I think, than Dream Theatre. I couldn't play like Petrucci if I try, man. And a lot of the time, I think when it gets to that state, it's almost like it becomes a sport. Like I'm watching these competing athletes, just like, you know, who are just amazing, and they've absolutely mastered their craft. But to me, I think our craft is more about the composition and the song, and the vibe, I guess, just sort of creating this energy or an atmosphere or a feeling. Yeah, so, but yeah, as I said, much respect to the band, but I don't really see that myself. But that's something you can't control. That's out of my hands. Whatever people want to call us, I'm cool with.
Now, the band lyrically have always come from a place of sort of inner awareness, and I guess what can you tell us a bit about some of the topics and even inspirations that can be found on this forthcoming record?
Yeah, well, I think The Sound Awake was really about, you know, just becoming aware of stuff, you know, and it was very much looking out, and there was a lot of pointing the finger on that record, and saying, you know, asking why, you know, because it's just, you know, when you sort of start to ask questions and, you know, look at the world from different angles, and I don't know, it can be quite, it shakes you up a bit, you know. So I think that was that was Sound Awake, was a lot of uncertainty and in a bit of a state of flux, I guess. Whereas this one, we're replacing the you and the us and the collective, and trying to make it a bit more personal, I guess, and really trying to go in, if you want to put it that way, and just touch on some nerves that need to be touched on, and it's a bit of a message in a bottle thing, Say, you throw it out there, and it's just like, is anyone else sort of feeling this? Or is it just me? And I have a feeling that I think that there'll be some. I think the message will be received on a few shores, hopefully, because you really just want to intend it as a big. It's very dark, and it's even darker, I think, than Sound Awake. But it's still, we want everyone to know it's a big warm embrace from Karnivool that we're putting out there. So it's I think we're all going through a bit of a shift at the moment, and if you're aware of it or not, then you're all kind of a part of it. So whether you like it or not,
yeah.
And it is a personal thing, it's a collective thing, but this is focusing more on the personal, and this is how we're feeling. This is us trying to get down to some deep stuff. And there was a couple of moments where we finished a couple of songs, and it was like something shifts, and someone just went, fuck, we got it. Feel better now.
Yep.
It's quite cathartic in that way. So it's I don't know. It's every album for us is about evolving as a band, evolving as humans and individuals, and it's kind of the micro macro kind of thing, and as long as we keep growing with every album, then I feel like it really helps me as a person to just to deal with with life, which is fucking great at the moment, I have to say. And there's definitely nothing to be complaining about, because Byron was the most awesome place to record a record.
Right in the element. Well, again, we look forward to embracing the brand new record. And again, thanks for speaking to us here on andrewhaug.com, Drew.
Cheers, man. Thanks for talking to us.
No worries. And just, I guess, seeing we have no new music yet to play, we can get you to choose your favourite track from any of the back catalogue. And a couple of last words to the Australian masses, or even the masses abroad, because, of course, this is a global station.
Yes. All right. Song choice. I reckon we'll go with Dead Man. And final words, just, to all the musos and all the music lovers, just keep putting your good energy out there and keep creating, because we need that. It's very handy.
Awesome. Well, let's check out some Karnivool now on Heavy at Home on andrewhaug.com. Thanks, Drew.